the second part of SOCAN, so we've collected the license fees. Now we have to pay out royalties. So SOCAN, as I said, is Canada's Performing Rights Society. So we represent the performing right of songwriters and music publishers here. So you join SOCAN as a creator, as a songwriter or composer or a music publisher. There's no cost to join SOCAN. SOCAN is a member-owned collective. There's no cost to do anything with SOCAN at all. The only criteria to become a member of SOCAN is that you're at a point in your career where you have the potential to earn royalties from SOCAN. Because SOCAN doesn't protect your copyright. SOCAN administers one part of it, which is the performing right part of it. So if you're not at a point where you're playing live, where you can have songs posted online, or you have a record out where you can get radio airplay, or you're composing for film or television or anything like that, then there's no real reason for you to become a member. So if you're just screwing around playing in your basement, writing stuff, and it's never going to see the light of day, there's no reason for you to be a member of SOCAN. But if you are doing stuff and you're out playing, or you're posting stuff on YouTube, or whatever you're doing, then that allows you to become a member of SOCAN. So it's all done online. You just apply online. The songwriting part of it, if you're writing, you always become a member of SOCAN as an individual writer. If you're creating as a band, for example, you don't join SOCAN as a band. You join SOCAN as individual writers within that band, and then register the song together, indicating. So if you and I co-wrote a song together, and it's 50-50, you would become a member of SOCAN, I would become a member of SOCAN, and then one of us would register the song, indicating that you own 50% and I own 50%. It shows up in each of our catalogs. So apply online. The basics of applying online, your name and your mailing address, all that kind of basic stuff. All new members have direct deposit and online statements, which means any royalties that would flow through as a direct deposit payment, and online statements, your statement telling you how much your license or how much your royalties are and where they came from would be online, and you can figure that out online. It'll tell you if it's coming from Canada or it's coming from the US, if it's coming from radio, if it's coming from live performance, all that kind of stuff. So you join SOCAN, register everything online. Your initial application takes 5 minutes online. Then you get 2 contracts in the mail. One contract will be for SOCAN. One contract will be to assign what's called your private copying rights to SOCAN to administer. Did you guys talk about private copying rights? Private copying rights exist in a number of countries, including Canada. So right now, there's a levy that's attached to the manufacturer of blank media, so blank CDs, DVRs, that kind of stuff. So the manufacturer pays a levy to an organization in Canada, essentially to help compensate songwriters and master owners whose music is being copied onto that blank media as opposed to being purchased or legally downloaded. So you assign your private copying rights to SOCAN, so all that means is any royalties that would come to you from that organization would flow through SOCAN, and that's based on sales data from SoundScan, and it's based on radio performance data from SOCAN in Canada. But anyway, so that flows through onto SOCAN. So sign both of those, send them back. You get an email that says congratulations, you're a SOCAN member, and then at that point you're able to do all the things that you can do with SOCAN. You're able to register your songs. You're able to report your live performances. You're able to submit cue sheets for film and television, all that kind of stuff. So. And yeah, so the criteria is basically that you're at a point in your career. So the first question that'll be asked when you apply online is, have you done any of those things? And if you played live, that's the easiest one. Just submit, I played live, pick a date, and then just go through. That's easy to do that way. So they'll ask you for your social insurance number, because we pay taxes. You pay taxes on the money that come in, so we issue you a T5 every year of all the royalties that you earned for the year, and you can claim that on your income tax. And it'll also ask you for your banking information, because you're doing direct deposit. You'll either have it, if you have a blank check or whatever, you can just get the numbers from the information online, or if you call your bank and say, I want to do direct deposit, they'll give you your bank numbers, your account number, your transfer number, your bank code. So it's typical for any direct deposit. And you'll also be asked to choose what performing rights society you wanted to represent you in the United States. So, as I said, SOCAN is Canada's Performing Rights Society. We have reciprocal agreements with all the performing rights societies around the world. So you only need to join SOCAN. You don't need to join multiple societies. So if your music gets played on the radio in Canada, SOCAN licenses that. You're a member of SOCAN and we pay you directly. If your music gets played in the UK, the organization in the UK is called PRS for Music. PRS for Music then does the same thing that we do here. they report to us that your music was played, send the royalties over, and we pay you. So all the societies only have one, so you automatically default to that, except for the United States. The United States has 3 societies. One's called ASCAP, one's called BMI, and one's called SOCAN. So all you need to do on the application is you'll select the society that you want to have represent you in the United States. So all that means is, if you choose ASCAP, ASCAP would be the organization that represented you in SOCAN. So they would do the licensing on your behalf. ASCAP would send us the information and the data and the money, and then we would pay you. We would pay you directly. Has anybody heard of ASCAP or BMI?
Yeah.
So if you look on inside of the, records and stuff, it always says the name of the writer and then it's ASCAP or BMI. All that means is they're represented by ASCAP or BMI in the United States. So it would be the same as SOCAN. So they're pretty much the same type of organization. They do the same thing. The ASCAP is similar to SOCAN, where it's a member-owned collective. BMI is owned by broadcasters, and CSEC is a privately owned company. But they all do the same thing. They all license the music, and they pay songwriters. So if you were concerned about who you wanted to join, which I do get the question a lot, what I normally tell people to do is, if you certain bands that you like, go figure out who they're members of, and see what's going on. And you can go on their website, you can see. So if you're a big fan of Slayer, then you can find Slayer.
It's a little more difficult becoming a member of CSAC, though, isn't it? It's more selective.
Used to be much more selective. They're much more open now. So, because that's the reality of the U.S., right? They're all competing societies, so they all poach each other's members. And you could be BMI for 10 years, and then your contract ends, and then you go to ASCAP for another 10 because they give you depends on who you are, but they give you a very big advance or something like that. And CSEC for a while was collecting certain genres of artists. So they felt that classic rock was going to be a big revenue generator, basically. It's going to be more classic rock stations, going to be more playing on radio, that kind of stuff. So they were then out trying to sign classic rock artists, classic rock songwriters, because then that revenue would flow through them. Yeah. So then, once you've chosen all that, then you'll get an email that has your user ID and password, and you'll be able to register all the songs and do all the things that you need to do as a SOCAN. So, is any questions about joining SOCAN? So the guys that weren't members yet, do you think you'd qualify? Yeah. Qualify to become a member? Do you think? Yeah. Think there's potential.
If you use the having played live, it has to be with the SOCAN licensed establishment. Obviously.
There you go.
No.
It does not? You don't check up on that?
You can say you played, but you can't claim any performance.
Yeah, it's just a hurdle to allow you to think about why you're joining, basically, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's to say, these are the potential revenue streams from SOCAN. Am I at a point in my career where am I playing live? Yes, I am. Then I have the potential. If I didn't play live, if I only played one show and it happened to be at a variety concert in, a community center in Buckins or something like that, that just didn't happen to be licensed, the next show you might do might be, at Saturday night at Fat Cat or something, right? So it just allows you to. The reality is we don't really check because
do you still have to send a flyer or something of the
not to initially join.
Not to initially join.
No. So if you're playing at, say, an unlicensed establishment and they don't pay license fees, and then you go to remit the notification to get paid for royalties, that just means you're not going to get royalties for that particular show. But it doesn't stop you from starting the process and actually becoming a member. So, and before the past two, it was you had to release a commercially released record was one of the criteria, right? But it was sort of an outdated criteria, or it certainly is now, because you don't really even need to do that, right? You can release singles online through your website for the rest of your life, and on iTunes, and never release an actual record. You can constantly post stuff on YouTube and generate money now. That will qualify you to become a member because there's revenue that's potentially there for you through YouTube, right? So all those things sort of allow you to qualify. So with the live performance one being the easiest to just sort of, because it just tells you, you just pick a date and a venue in the city, right? And it just flows through the problem, right? So, yeah, so if you were looking to where it is online to join, so SOCAN.ca is the website. So you'd be a music creator, and you'll go to join SOCAN. So as a music creator, as I said, there's no cost to join SOCAN at all. If you wanted to join as a music publisher, there's a one-time fee of $50 to join as a music publisher, and there's a couple of other criteria that you needed to follow to become a music publisher. But all of you, if you're going to join now, you're going to be joining as a writer, and you're going to be a self-published artist, so there's no requirement or need for you to join as a music publisher right now. So you just click apply online.
But we can't be both, on SOCAN, or?
Definitely, you can be both, yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to join as a music publisher, what you need to do is you need to, one, clear the publishing name with SOCAN to make sure, because we can't have multiple companies with the same publishing company name.
Yeah.
You have to choose something different, so you have to pick that, and it's approved by us. You have to operate it as a business in the province that you operate that you're living in. So you have to register it at the business at, I don't know what it is here, but Registry of Joint Stocks in Nova Scotia, but whatever the business registry is where you incorporate and that sort of thing, if you're operating in Newfoundland. And then you have to have at least, I believe it's 5 songs assigned to you as a music publisher. Whether it's an outside artist or whether it's yourself, if you wanted to be, probably obviously publish your own works, right?
The artist has to be Canadian?
No.
Is that? No?
No, it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. You as a music publisher are operating in Canada. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So regardless of who the artist is, you're representing them in as your publisher in Canada, and you would need to. Publishing is a whole other different ballgame, but if you're representing them internationally, it would depend on, you might have to sign self-publishing deals with foreign territory publishers and that sort of thing, but you can operate in Canada as a publisher with artists from anywhere around the world. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, you just need to check with us first and make sure everything's cleared, and before you go ahead and do that, then you need to start signing. So at that point, what you would be is you'd be a member of SOCAN twice. You'd be a member of SOCAN as a publisher, and be a member of SOCAN if you're also a writer, as a composer-writer. Or you can just be a music publisher, or you can just be a writer, one or the other.
Would I get more money if I did it right with both?
No.
No, I wouldn't get more money?
No, because your publishing share and the royalty associated with the song is 100%, right?
Mhm.
Within that 100%, there's the publishing part of it and the writer part of that royalty.
Yeah.
If there's no publisher involved, it just means the writer is self-published,
Mhm.
and all of that money goes to that person. If there's a publisher involved, that same pool of money just gets split in half, for example. So if there's a $100 royalty for radio airplay, and I'm your artist and I've signed to your publishing company, and I've assigned 50% to the publishing company, out of that $100, $50 would be paid to me directly as the composer, and $50 would be paid to you directly as the publisher of my work. There's no additional money there, right?
Okay.
And same thing on the artist side. If you don't have a publishing company,
Yeah.
you're not losing out on money because you don't have the publishing side, because you're self-published. Right?
Yeah, that's what I meant, I guess, overall, specifically towards each. Yeah, okay, I get it.
Yeah, so there's no additional money for publishing from the royalty. The royalty always remains the exact same amount. It just gets divided. The pie gets divided between more people.
Okay.
Yeah.
In regards to publishing, if a music business or a studio or whatever registered and whatnot, they don't offer publishing, is that just another service that they can start offering if they're already an established business through like corporate numbers? And stuff?
Did you guys go over publishing and what an actual publisher does? Or what they're
Some of us
to do?
did, somewhat, yeah.
Yeah. So the role of a music publisher is to generate more income for you than you would normally be able to do as a songwriter.
Mhm.
So when I say more income, it's not more money for doing the same thing, right? So I'm a music publisher. So I'm a music publisher, and I assign you to my music publishing company, right?
Okay.
Part of that deal is you're giving me royalties, right? You're assigning over, say, 25% of your royalties, future royalties that are going to come from that song. So that'll be from mechanical royalties for somebody covering the song. It'll be for synchronization licensing, so you get it placed in film or television, and for performing rights for radio airplay, film and television broadcast, all that stuff. So you've assigned me 25%. So now, and the reason you did that is you think that I can earn you more income because of all of my connections and all the things that I do than you could have done yourself. So I could get you more film and television placements. I can get Slayer to cover your song.
Mhm.
I can get you placed in your song placed in Grey's Anatomy, right? I can generate more income for you. I can try to get more radio airplay. So signing to a publishing company, when you're signing, you don't just sign for no reason at all. You don't just sign somebody 25% for the sake of signing with a publishing company. You have to think to yourself, when you're signing that, can they generate more income for me? Because I'm giving away 25% or 50%. So if you sign a 2-year publishing deal, and prior to that you were earning $5,000 from SOCAN, and then the next 2 years you were earning $5,000 from SOCAN, but you're giving away 25% of that to the publisher, it doesn't make any sense, right? You're not doing anybody any good by publishers and doing them any good because they're not earning more income for you, right?
Yeah.
So as a publishing company, you're signing artists, and you want to sign with publishing companies that you think can earn you more money, basically, right? So the only reason to, because there's a number of different sort of types of publishing companies that are out there now, right? There's your traditional publishing company, say, BMG Music Publishing or Sony Music Publishing, right? Where they sign all their artists and they generate income for them and they do all kinds of stuff for them. You have sort of smaller publishing companies who just have a catalog of artists who try to, like a lot of the Nashville stuff, right? So you sign with a music publisher in Nashville, their whole goal is to try to get your songs, they pitch your songs, they try to get your songs covered by other artists so you can generate income that way. Then you have sort of the new version, sort of pseudo-publishing companies like that are online, that send you emails all the time, that say, we heard your music, we really like to have you in our catalog. Sign with us, and it's a non-exclusive deal, and they show all the commercials that they've got people and all that kind of crap, right? Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Don't trust them.
No. Because the whole reason why you want to sign with a publisher, one is so they can earn your money. That you're on a smaller catalog, so you're a big part of what they're doing. So they want to pitch. If they only have 6 artists with a catalog of 400 songs, they're pitching 400 songs. Those catalogs are millions of catalogs, and they have no vested interest whether it's you signing it or me signing it. They're covering it, right? They're doing the work of it. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll also retitle the works. They'll do all kinds of crazy things. So yes.
Shady.
Yeah. So they say it's non-exclusive,
Yeah.
which means you can sign with us, but then you can also pitch it to other people, right? But as a music supervisor, do you guys know what a music supervisor is? No? Really great job. But music supervisors work with studios, work with film and television producers, and their job is to search out and find the music that's actually placed in film and television shows.
Really?
So music supervisors are always out there constantly looking for music, right? They never go anywhere near those because they want to have music in their show that's unique. They don't want, if they're placing stuff in Rookie Blue or Grey's Anatomy, they don't want that same song to be in 15 other shows that are being shown that week, right? But if you sign with, say, one of those online publishing companies, they say it's non-exclusive, but then they can just go retitle the work and then pitch. It doesn't matter, they don't care, right? They just pitch it to everybody you're in on. So you can have all these multiple catalogs with multiple versions of your song just floating around there forever, right?
And then they try and compete with like royalties and getting royalties.
Yeah, they take the royalties, part of the royalties. So they'll split the upfront initial license. So when you get something placed in film or television, it's the one I talked about earlier, the synchronization master use license. So they'll split that with you. They'll retitle the work. They'll put that retitled work on a cue sheet and then register that work with the society, and then they earn royalties for that song that's in that TV show forever.
And you wouldn't know the why.
You would know, but you probably didn't know at the beginning that that's the way it was going to work, right? So then you can't then take, so that they place it in a TV commercial for Doritos or something, right?
Yeah.
Nobody else is going to want to touch that song anymore because it's already been in the commercial, so people know it as a commercial. They're not going to want to put it in a TV show or anything like that, right? So with a typical publishing deal, so not legitimate, but a traditional one, you would sign the publishing deal. Right? It would be typically for a term, so you sign a publishing deal for 5 years, right? At the end of that 5-year term, you either choose to re-sign again or sign with another publishing company, or that money goes back to you, right? And that money is the percentage. So if you got it put in, if they were able to put it in a television show for you, after the 5-year term is over, if you signed away 50% over that 5 years, then that money reverts back to you, right? But if it was a retitled version of the song, that's done in perpetuity. So forever, you never get that back. So that retitle work in there, that company is going to generate that percentage of that one particular placement forever.
Tricky.
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit shit.
So, again, I guess back to my question. If you're a music company and you want to start being a publisher,
Yeah.
you just go on SOCAN and
Yeah, if you want to
Open the
operate as a
publisher.
publishing company, one, you need to have, to qualify to be a publisher, you need to have works already assigned to you.
yeah,
Like I said, and that could be, if you sign me, that could be my works, or if you have your own works, you could assign your own
Yeah.
works to your own publishing company, right?
but there's no, you don't need to like, I guess what I'm getting at is for the business side, you don't need to open a subsidiary business, get a separate GST number and all this other stuff.
You have to have
If you have a music business already,
Yeah,
you want to
can put it-
offer
you can
this
put it under
service.
that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So if the business is called, Tim Hardy Productions, you can have Tim Hardy Productions as your publishing company name. That's not a problem. We have different
Yeah,
just
okay.
the name is just, a lot of people just like to have it.
Yeah. So it's just an extra service that you add to your list of services for your
Possibly.
clientele.
Possibly, but that goes back to what are you offering that artist,
Yeah,
right?
I don't mean the details, I just mean the business side of it. For like, when
Yeah, so you can
CRA calls
can
you and
open-
says, oh,
Yeah,
we
you
see
can,
that
you can open up a business and have just money that's going to be flowing through your business, regardless of where that comes from, whether it's
Yeah,
from
okay.
publishing, whether it's from the sale of record, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
so like Fred's Records all of a sudden says, we now offer publishing. Well,
Right.
they already have a business license, so they don't need to do anything except for advertise they now offer publishing.
Right.
And have a guy to deal with it and,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Just by opening up a publishing company, because anybody can open up a publishing company and just have it flow through. So you have to have it operating as a business, so it has to be a business that's open, and then you register with SOCAN as a publisher, and then start signing artists and signing. So there's the question there, right? So is your music been published? Are you recording for sale? Has it been played on radio, film, or TV, performed live? Or your music is not currently being performed publicly? So if you click that, then it would tell you you can't be a SOCAN member. So then you just go in and register your name, mailing address, all that kind of stuff. So once you are a member of SOCAN, that's when you can start earning royalties, or royalties from SOCAN.